In this podcast, you'll hear from the top personal trainers and respected wellness practitioners in the space. They'll be talking about stuff like how moving your body is essential to a robust well-being, how to age with strength and with grace, how to nourish your mind and body through good nutrition versus the latest fad diets, and so much more. If you want a deep dive into a lifestyle of trainers and those who assist in true healthcare, then you're in the right place. This place was created for you to help you improve your future well-being.
Yes. Good morning, Fit family. Back again with another episode of Fit 360 podcast. And today I have a very special guest, man. This guy I've known for many years. When I first moved to Atlanta in 2008 and went to work at a gym called Gym of Buckhead. This guy was in there hawking up all the clients, man. He was the man that everybody, he was a trailblazer in the fitness business. And when I tell you this guy, he was training multiple people at a time. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7, 8 people. And he was just around the gym, just back and forth, like a monkey on a tree, man. I mean, it was a sight to see, to watch him. It was amazing, and everybody. I mean, he was the busiest guy in the gym, man. It was beautiful to see that is something that's very possible. Kind of remind me of when I was in New York myself. I was like him. I was the guy that was busy, had all the clients, used to follow. But I came to New York, to Atlanta, and I had to give this guy some respect. I was like, what? This is me, and this is a guy that has a big opinion about everything, and speaks his truth no matter what. He doesn't care who likes him, who don't like him. And it's one of the things I love about him. You can be mad at him today and love him tomorrow. And I think that's how people need to be. And he's always great to talk to. He's fair, and I'm glad to have him on my podcast today, man. It's a beautiful thing. We're gonna have a lot of things to talk about, and this guy has mega experience. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, John.
Me too, man. Me too.
And everybody, welcome John White.
How's it going?
Super trainer. Now working at doing this thing at Fit 360 Total Training here in Miami Circle, and let's go, man. Let's have this conversation. Man. Yeah, man. So tell me, how long you been in the business?
I started training people in 1987. Mm-hmm. I was working at a gym over in on Franklin Road, Gold's Gym. Okay. Me and Daryl Stafford were training partners.
Yeah, I remember Daryl.
And he had started there, and then Chris Garvey opened. It was another Gold's. He opened it on Roswell Road in 1993, I believe. And so I moved over there. I did a short stint at Jeans, and then I went over to Chris Garvey was the owner. Goals on Roswell Road.
Yeah.
And
that's the same gym that
came with Jim Buckhead. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Heard a lot of wild things about back in those days.
It was a very wild gym back in the day.
Yeah.
Place to be.
Right.
Place to be.
No,
early '90s,
and it was
bodybuilding was king, and fitness was huge, and Garvey opened up this nice gym, and he he was a pretty good business guy. Went around to all the strip clubs and gave all the strippers free memberships, and so you had a plethora of strippers and drug dealers and meatheads, and I mean it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Sounds like a lot of fun back then, man. I heard the stories, man.
Fights, and I mean it was a wild place to be.
Yeah,
wild place to be.
So tell me, why you decide to become a trainer?
Well, it kind of just happened. Mm-hmm. I was competing.
That story.
I was competing, and then
right.
Had a girlfriend, not a girlfriend, but just a friend, who wanted to do a show and asked me to help her. And So I started training her, and then it kind of just
Branched off,
mushroomed.
mushroomed.
Just mushroomed into this. So I really it wasn't like I planned to do it. It just kind of evolved.
Fell in your lap.
Yeah.
And like, shit, this
Yeah.
feels good.
Well, I mean, I knew I couldn't work for I couldn't be a business guy.
Right.
I can't work in a business atmosphere, and
Totally agree, man.
I mean,
knowing what I know about you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm who I am, and I'm loud. Sometimes my language gets a little out of hand. And,
right. You're just passionate, man.
Yeah, and it's just the gym is just a place I feel really, really comfortable. And I mean, I was in there all the time anyway, and then it's just it's been. I have to admit, it's been pretty good to me.
There's some similarities about so far. There's a lot of similarities between you and I in terms of being in the business, and I kind of want to tread in that a little bit and see how that evolved. Did you start training before gyms hired trainers back then?
No.
So gyms had hired trainers back
then.
So you said about 70?
Yeah.
What year was that? 97?
Me, 87.
87.
So what I did, I'd moved over to Atlanta,
from where?
From Birmingham.
From Birmingham.
So, I grew up in Texas, then I moved to Birmingham, and then Birmingham was just not for me.
Right.
So then I moved over here, and, I was just kind of not really knowing what I wanted to do and all that. So I went to work for Goals, just kind of, being an employee.
Right.
Because I like being in the gym.
Right.
And I'd ran a couple gyms in Birmingham and stuff like that. But so I just kind of, doing that, just kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And, Daryl and I were training partners. He was getting ready for the Nationals, and I was competing. And it just kind of, that. And then, I was giving a percentage to the gym like it started out. And then, it just...
So it wasn't like a rent thing the way it is
No,
now,
and then
more.
once Chris Garvey opened up, he went to this just, like a, independent contractor.
Got it.
And then, so, you start, okay, this is a lot better than paying rent. Or not paying rent, but, giving a percentage. And then it just kind of, it's just kind of grown, and it's been a good life for me, I mean, just not knowing what you want to do, I was playing college football and I got hurt, and then, I didn't get along with the coach, and me being young and retarded and stupid, I got kicked out of school, and then my parents thought it'd be a good idea because I was actually born in Birmingham and I had relatives in Birmingham, so he thought it'd be a good idea for me to get a break. I was kind of doing some stupid things and thought I just needed to give Texas a break, so I went over there and
trying to find your way.
Yeah, and, playing football, I also got into the bodybuilding thing.
Right.
And so I really, I've been doing something competitive since I was 7 years old. And so I...
You mean being sports?
Yeah, sports. Playing football, baseball,
right. And then
growing
also,
up. And then about 15, I was playing high school football. And my dad got transferred out to Texas, so I was playing out there. And then I had a running back coach named Art Browse, who became a very prominent college coach. And then some things happened, and that kind of fell apart. But he really inspired me because he just had an unbelievable physique.
Right.
And then, so I'd always kind of been into the human body and how it looked, and even when I was young.
And the performance of it and all that.
And then, so he started a powerlifting team in high school, so I got into that. So we were traveling around the state of Texas competing and in powerlifting meets, and then I just really had the bug for working out. And then, like I said, I got a college scholarship, so I was down in Southwest Texas, and when I was taking a recruiting trip, there was a guy named Wes Carroll, and I kind of noticed that all the girls were kind of hanging out with him, and I'm like, whatever this guy's doing, I need to be doing.
Do that.
And he had just won the Texas in bodybuilding, so I started hanging out with him. So we'd get up early in the morning, work out. I'd go do meetings for football, then we'd practice, and I'd work out afterwards. And then we'd actually drive to Austin, Texas, 30 minutes away, and work out again.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I was just I was just addicted.
Right.
And then
so you wanted like the back what people call gym meathead.
Oh, I was a total meathead. I've been a gym rat, gym meathead, the whole deal. And so, and then I started, you seeing your body change, and you start growing, and, next thing I know, I'm getting moved from running back to linebacker because I put on some weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really had the bug.
Right.
And then I got hurt, and like I said, I had a falling out with the coach, and so, one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I'm out of school.
Right.
And so I moved to Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy named Mike Brown who owned a gym called Vulcan Gym.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started running his gym. Mm-hmm. And then I was competing and doing all that. And then I just started, a little bit of personal training, but not much, just mainly running the gym.
Right.
And then I met a girl from Atlanta. And then so
she's like, yo.
I needed to get out of Birmingham because it was just, Birmingham's just a lot slower than Atlanta. And then
Right.
I'm young. And
Right.
so I moved over here, and I go to Goals and met Daryl. And we started training. And
Daryl was competing too.
Oh, Daryl was
a
big time.
competitor.
Oh, yeah, Daryl was big time. Ended up getting his pro card.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, that was my aspirations,
Right.
Really not so much.
So did you want to become a pro?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was going to, turn pro, do the Olympia,
Mm-hmm.
the whole deal,
Right.
But that's the way I've always been my whole life. I've had to set hefty goals. I thought I was going to go to college and win the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
Not realizing that,
You can get hurt.
well,
something
it's totally, I just wasn't that good. But in my mind, I was that good.
Okay.
Same way with bodybuilding.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
It's the same way with bodybuilding.
You got to believe in yourself, right?
Yeah. So, the whole personal training thing really wasn't my main focus. It was more competing and doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you had to make an income.
Right.
So
the money was there.
Yeah.
And you were getting the business.
Yeah.
People was
yeah, and then, like I said, I started training a girl named Terry Wade, who's now runs her own pharmaceutical company and,
Mm-hmm.
very successful. And it just kind of mushroomed into one client led to two led to four led to, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And before you know it, I'm like,
Money-
oh my
money-
God,
money coming in,
I'm
yeah.
busy,
Right.
I'm having to get up at 2:00 in the morning and do my cardio and go home and eat, come back and train, train at lunch, train again in the afternoon, training people, not getting home till 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So
Again, a lot of
yeah.
similarities
Yeah.
that I have.
yeah,
How
and
much did you charge back, like the first time you charged?
started off charging $30 an hour.
$30 an hour.
$30
For me,
an
it was
hour.
40.
Yeah, $30
You
an hour. And then it just kind of, you kind of every couple of years you go up a little
Raise
bit.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so now it's to the point, and I'm not the type that I would rather have, multiple people charging, paying a little bit less.
Right. So
But
have more
you get
freedom
3 or 4 or
throughout the
5
day.
people
Yeah.
paying $60 an hour, you're doing all right.
Yeah,
Rather
absolutely.
than, because I get very bored.
Still one of the highest paying jobs.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, when
Yeah.
you think about
Yeah,
it.
and then so and so I did it that way because multiple people keep me going.
Right.
When I'm one-on-one, I tend to get a little bored
Right.
because they can't keep going.
But also, there's a cluster of people that wants to train at the same time every day.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah,
I want to come in at 9 o'clock. This person want to come at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock,
Yep.
because they want to spend the rest
Yep.
of the day doing other things
yep,
that they want to
absolutely,
do.
absolutely.
So you can't really help it. You're gonna have to train
Yeah,
people.
and also multiple people keep me going, keep me motivated.
Right.
Because
so they get what they want and you
yeah,
get what you want.
because I can have somebody doing side laterals while I'm helping somebody, bench press or
Right.
squat or shoulder press. Because I just don't need to I don't need to babysit. Somebody
Everybody.
doing side laterals or
Right.
bicep curl. I watch their form,
right.
but you don't
You
have to
want
be there.
Yeah, you want to be there when somebody's doing like a bench press, or a
Exactly.
shoulder press,
Major
but it's-
movements.
right,
Major movements.
right.
That's where I want to be there.
Where a weight can fall on somebody.
Exactly. Because I'm a very old school.
Right.
I train people the way I train, and it's old fashioned. It's drop
it's where it
stitch. It's
started.
force grip. Yeah, absolutely.
It's where it started. It's the foundation.
And then so, that's my focus is training people the way I do.
Right.
And it's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
But it's still a click.
But it's still the basics. Though.
Exactly.
It's the basics
Exactly.
because it's the foundation,
Yeah.
the way of training. Because no matter how you look at it, it always comes back to that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And even though we can have the other stuff that the agility stuff.
Oh
and
yeah.
functional
I mean,
stuff,
there's
which is great.
Absolutely. TRX.
But we still gotta come back to that
Exactly.
foundation way
Exactly.
of training.
And that's just been my whole way, my whole life.
And believe it or not, that people who want that body really have to train that way.
Absolutely.
Everybody want to admire the person who looked that way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So I've been very lucky that, you know, I have that niche and I have the people who want to train that way.
Right.
You know, because, you know, it's not for everybody.
It's not.
It's not for everybody.
There's
you know,
no one way for everybody.
And I've had, you know, like Clark Brown's been a client of mine since 1997. You know, and
wow,
he's 82 years old.
Jesus.
And he acts like he's 30.
And he's still here.
They do 3 days a week, hardcore.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the guy just is, you know, he is my.
Goes to show you how the way you're training, when you train somebody, it creates longevity.
Absolutely. And you know, as long as I've known him, not one day has he come in here and go, I feel old today.
Right.
Not one day.
Never.
Not one
You're
day.
Right.
Since
And
1996.
And I've known Clark just as long as I know you.
Yep.
Not to talk to
No,
him,
no, no.
but I see you training him
Yep.
from day one when I
Yep.
walked in that gym.
Yep.
And still training him today. And he goes everywhere you go.
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
most of your clients are with me.
95% of my clients have followed me
Right,
wherever I
everywhere.
go. You know?
I want to go back a little bit, kind of go over. Did you think, or do you know, or do you feel that the training that you got into kept you out of trouble? Being in the gym, bodybuilding, and all that stuff kind of kept you out of trouble.
To some degree, I do believe that.
So that's one benefit that you got from that.
Yeah.
And the other benefit would be the health aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Also the way you look.
And it just,
and all
you know,
that.
because, well, you know, to go back to my college days, my whole deal was to be a coach, you know. But looking back on it now, you know, the way these kids are today, there's just no way.
Right.
Because, you know, it's just.
We didn't have video games back then. And all
Exactly.
That.
Well, it's the whole discipline thing now and all that. So it was my way of motivating people
Right.
without, you know, being what I wanted to be. Because in the end result, I was doing student teaching and I'm going, I can't deal with these kids, man. You know, I can't deal with weak-minded people.
Right.
And then so, in some ways, the way I do train my people is you can't be a weak-minded person.
Right.
Because if you're weak-minded, then you're just not going to be able to handle. Because I mean,
You're aggressive.
I try to be very intense.
Right.
You know, I'm loud. I try to be motivating, and then so I can't be a babysitter.
Yeah, listen, you are the way you are,
Yeah.
and your clients have no complaints about. Even if they complain, you know what they say that they do, they still love.
Yeah.
They still love the way you.
Yeah. You know, and then you
for
know,
them.
but as they get older, you have to you can't be quite as hardcore as you used to be.
Right,
you got to back it down a little bit because people get older, or they get hurt easier. I mean, trust me, I've torn everything on my body, and I have to train like an old man now because my body it just doesn't work.
Right.
So I try to keep people from going down the path that I went down. You know, because you can act like an idiot and train like a maniac, and then you're gonna end up like Ronnie Coleman or.
Right.
You know, whatever. And I don't think, you know, Ronnie will tell you all day long that his training didn't cause his body to be broken down. Well, I can tell you right now, my training the way it did break my body down. You know.
What is that exactly?
Well, I mean, you know, you tear a rotator cuff in and then you think, not a big deal. You go in and get surgery. The surgery's bad. You know, and then your left shoulder's, you have no rotator attachments or nothing else left. And then you tear your quads. And you never know how you heal, you know. I mean, I've torn both my quads, and the nerve didn't regenerate in my quad like it's supposed to. So now I have.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I only have 2/3 of my quad on each leg.
Wow. And shoulder too.
My right shoulder, believe it or not, I was doing cable crossover, tore my subscapularis right off the bone. And then after two bad surgery, I'm done with surgeries. So I just dealt with it.
So you had your athlete's moments.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know.
Athletes did.
I mean, I was squatting in Jim Buckhead one Saturday morning. I was warming up at 3:15. Next thing you know, it's on top of me. My quad's torn. I'm being carried out of the gym, and
what?
you know, oh yeah, it was Saturday morning. I was warming up 3:15. I got about halfway up. My left quad snapped. It came down on me. My left knee came in, my right knee went out. I think I partially tore my right quad then. And then, you can't walk. I mean, you literally cannot walk.
So that's surgery.
Oh yeah, surgery, and then
set you back on your training.
Absolutely. And then, you know, the nerve didn't regenerate the way it should have So my whole vastus medialis basically doesn't work. Doesn't work. And then, you know, that was 2013.
So were you still competing? Oh, that's 2013.
I toured in 2013.
Oh, okay.
I did my last show in 2009.
Uh-huh.
And then, but you know, my aspirations were still to be competing.
Right.
But yeah, I toured in 2013, and then I tore my right one in 2015. I tore my shoulder in 2015.
I remember when you went for that surgery.
Yeah.
I didn't really know the details per se, but yeah, I remember when you went in for some surgeries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a week later, I got a big abscess on my shoulder, and you know, I went to a surgeon that I probably shouldn't have gone to because I was trying to save money because I just had my quad torn. So I got it fixed. So I was trying to save money on insurance. So I tried to save some money. Ended up costing me $10,000 more than it should have because I had a big abscess. And so then I had to be on, you know, IV antibiotics for 7 weeks. And they were talking about amputating my shoulder and all this other crap.
So the lesson out of that is that get a good doctor.
Get a good doctor.
Get a good lawyer.
You know, I didn't follow my own advice.
Get a good trainer.
I didn't follow my own advice.
Right.
I went, you know, I was trying to save a lousy $1,500 in deductible. Ended up costing me $10,000.
Wow.
And
That's
you
the
know,
lesson right
I went
there.
through 6 months of depression because, I mean, my shoulder was never going to be the same. You know, me and my wife my wife moved out for a while because I was just in a really bad spot because. You know, the thing that you love the most is being taken away in some capacity.
You were angry. Yeah.
I'm always a little angry.
Right.
I was very angry.
Right.
I mean, there was a lot of days that I wanted a lot of bad stuff happen to that doctor. And so then eventually, you know, my head got a little bit better. Me and my wife got back together. You know, but my training's never been the same since.
Yeah.
And then I had some other health issues and. You know, so now I'm just basically a broken down old man who loves being in the gym and
broken down old man.
Broken down old man. Broken down old man. But, you know, I still try to make the best of it, and you know, I'm addicted to it. I mean, I'm just, you know, I think we all have a capacity to get addicted to something, and mine's been this.
So what's next in terms of, you know, you had all these goals, and you were just. Living this life, doing all these things. Is there anything next, or are you just gonna just?
I mean, you know, now I just, you know, try to make my money, and well, because you know, I just, you know, you get older, and I mean, I don't look the way I want to look, which always
you look great, man.
Yeah, but I
know
you
look better.
Yeah.
Like, I
well,
understand
but
that
you know,
in terms
when
of,
you're a meathead, you know, you're always a meathead.
Right.
You know, in some capacity.
But the point I'm trying to make though is that. If you took away all of those things and you bring yourself as a normal person in comparison to what normal
there's no doubt
like,
about it. There's no doubt about it.
You're still
There's no doubt
there.
about it. There's no doubt about it. But and in some ways, I mean,
and the fact that you did those things when you were younger brought you to where you are physically.
There's no doubt.
So you know you're aging in a way that most people want to age.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
When, physically speaking, when you look at it.
There's no doubt about it. You know, and
so you got to be grateful.
Well, and then probably the health condition I had probably really helped my life because I mean,
put things in perspective.
Well, yeah, but also what goes along with bodybuilding is other things.
Right, health.
Well, just you know, just the drugs and stuff like that, and you know.
Is there something you want to talk about?
I'll talk about anything.
So when you were doing bodybuilding, you were taking steroids?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, I know we're going to talk about somebody. I want to talk about somebody who both of us know who was a bodybuilder who was definitely on steroids. And that didn't work out good for him.
No, it doesn't work. Well, and if you see what's going on now in the professional bodybuilding world, more and more guys are downsizing.
Right.
Because they're dropping dead. I mean, for a while they were dropping dead like every week.
Right.
I mean, it's not natural for the human body to be 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", 300 pounds.
Right.
It's just not.
It isn't.
You know, and there was a young kid up and coming, great bodybuilder, Dallas McCarver, dead at 26. His heart was 4 times the size it should have been.
Steroids.
He was 340 pounds.
Wow.
I was at his very first bodybuilding show, and he was 220, and not even a good 220. But the kid just, he blossomed overnight. But unfortunately, you know, it's just, You know, and that's my deal now. I try to educate people because when I got
which is why I wanted to dive into it.
Because when I started, I mean, I was training at Goals in Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were tons of pro bodybuilders. There were tons of national competitors. And then so in 85, I decided to do my first show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm playing football. I mean, it's just crazy. And I'm dieting. And I have nobody to help me. Nobody to give me any advice. It's like, learn on your own.
Right.
So, and in the long terms, it's been the best thing for me.
Right.
Because it made me educate myself on nutrition,
right.
on the drugs,
mm-hmm.
on everything. Even though, so basically I was my own guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, with my mentality, if one is good, five is better.
Ah.
I mean, I'm just that, I'm that personality.
Right.
I'm just, more is better.
Right.
And then it come to, you know, in the end, it's not.
Right.
And I had to learn the hard way.
Right.
So I'm learning all my nutrition, doing my show. I end up losing 60 pounds, not doing one bit of cardio.
Whoa.
I got up to 240. I got up to 240. Yep. And then actually, I hadn't seen my parents in a while. So my parents show up for the show, and they walk right past me. Didn't even recognize me. Because I saw them for Christmas, and I was 240. And I can't remember the month. It was like May or something like that. I did a show.
Right.
And
they walked
right past me. Didn't recognize me. I lost so much weight. Anyway, I didn't do very good, you know. And then, you know, then you find out the other part of bodybuilding that you just eat excessively because you've deprived yourself.
Off season.
Well, I'm talking about after the show.
Right.
I would literally eat every meal till I threw up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I put on 60 pounds in 10 days.
Wow.
You know, which can't be good for your heart.
No.
But you just, you know, you
None of
deprive
that sounds
yourself.
good.
You deprive yourself that long, you know, of not your food, and you know, and like with me, when I'm in, I'm all in.
Right.
So I mean, and you're learning. I weighed everything. I counted every calorie, you know, and then it just you deprive yourself.
Right.
And then so once you get that taste of like sugar again, it's like a drug.
Like a drug.
It's like a drug.
Right.
You know, so then it's just excessive eating, and you'd throw up, and you know, your ankles would swell up, and you know, so that was another hard lesson I had to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and then it's just, you know, and then I mean, like when I started working out, I weighed 160 pounds. You know, the most I ever weighed was 272.
That's about what I weighed when I started.
Yeah, the most I ever weighed was 272.
Jeez.
You know, and then my blood pressure problems, and then all that.
So what's the heaviest you got up to?
Weight wise?
Yeah.
272.
272.
272.
You used to weigh, so 160. That's a lot of weight.
Yep. 112 pounds. 112.
And what's your height? You were
5'8".
5'8"?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight.
5'8". And then so, you know, because it was all about just, and back in those days, it was just, you weren't concerned about being lean and staying in, you know, it's just like, just get big. Just get big.
Right.
And yeah, you know, and so you know you're a little soft when your girlfriend goes, you know, you might want to start thinking about losing a little bit of weight, you know, but it's all about being strong in the gym and putting on as much muscle. So I went competing. I mean, my first show I competed at 165. You know, then you start growing. Then your next show is 185. Then you're 195. Then you're 198. Then you're 205. So I got to where I was competing about 220 pounds.
Okay.
You know,
which is good weight.
Yeah.
Good weight class.
And then, you know, I did that. I competed from.
So you did well. You brought some trophies home.
Yeah. Still chasing that pro dream.
Pro dream.
And then, so I competed from 85 to 95. And then I took a little break. It was, you know, it was supposed to be, you know, to get bigger and blah, blah, blah. So I took about 10 years off from competing. And then I started back competing in 2005. I competed from 2005 to 2009.
Okay. So, I wanna kind of touch back on the lesson aspect of this lifestyle, because I did some competing myself, as you know.
Yeah.
The one thing I never did was the steroids, because in my mind I'm thinking that's not what health is supposed to be. Because for me it was health first.
Yeah.
The bodybuilding came into play for me because it was a way to market my business as a trainer.
Absolutely.
Because we didn't have social media back then. It was just we had only business cards we had to rely on.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was another way to get my name to be seen, to kind of learn what I could learn more about.
Oh, absolutely.
Health.
Yeah.
So when I was being introduced to like steroids and stuff like that, mom was like, no, I'm not. I don't want to take that. I didn't even smoke cigarettes,
Yeah.
man. Like I
Yeah.
don't smoke none of, I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like clean
Oh, yeah.
dude. I
Yeah.
wanted a
Yeah.
clean life. And so for me, in my head, I'm like, that's not healthy. Like, how's that help?
Well,
What was
bodybuilding is
It's
not
not about
bodybuilding is the most unhealthiest lifestyle you can live.
I believe that, because even the dieting,
It's
when
excess.
when clients just ask me,
Yeah.
even I say, no, bodybuilding diet is not healthy.
No. It's
I
just
wouldn't
the
give a
whole
fuck.
aspect. Now, like the way you did it from a natural standpoint is 100 times more healthy than the way I did it.
Right.
Because when I did it,
Which is the reason why I got out of it too.
yeah.
Because
Because eventually you're going to have to make that decision.
Right, 'cause
Am
I
I
was
going to take
competing-
drugs or am I not going to take
Because
drugs?
you guys, I was
Because
competing
everybody you
against-
compete against is taking
has
drugs.
to exactly. And I was like,
Because
can't
I
do
mean,
this.
yeah. Even though I know guys that were totally against it, but then once they see you make that decision, if you want to compete,
If you ever try it one time, you know
you're
you
done.
can't stop.
It's like any drug.
Yeah, yeah.
The first time is your best time.
Right.
You know,
So the best thing is
the
just
first
don't
time
try
you
it.
take a cycle, you put on 25 or 30 pounds. Now, a lot of that's water.
Right.
But still,
in your
you just
head,
put on 25 or 30
Right,
pounds.
so-
Your bench press went from 200 to 300.
Right.
Your squat went from 300 to 400.
And you like,
I mean,
whoa.
there's a reason people take it. It works.
It works.
And it does have a place in health. As we get older,
Right.
as we get older,
So it's just more the quantity.
well, it's just hormone therapy.
Okay.
My philosophy now is I want to feel at 57 like I did at 25. So there's only way you're going to do that, and it's hormone therapy.
Right.
And now anything, you could take steroids and excessive is really bad.
Right.
But if you take a minimum amount to keep your test levels up, I think I think every man over 40 ought to be on testosterone.
Really?
I think every woman.
Because it's a natural substance in our
Well,
body.
it's a hormone.
It's a hormone.
I mean,
right.
in 20, from 22, 23 to about 34, 35, your test level's as high as it's ever going to be.
Right.
And then if you
So
notice
after
though,
that-
you never have Alzheimer's. You don't get any of that stuff at 20, 25.
Right.
Because that's when your
you have-
hormones. I mean,
Everything's
and
firing really
and my
good.
belief in life is, as we get older, as your hormones start to drop, that's when all the health problems start.
Gotcha.
You get
very true.
Well, you get menopause for women. You got menopause for men.
Man.
I mean, men get depressed. They get a big gut. They have no sex drive. They have no energy.
Right.
I mean, that's all testosterone related.
Right.
That is the basis hormone for a man is testosterone. Now, I think anywhere between a half a cc, 1 cc a week is perfect for a man. I've seen it change people's lives. I mean, I push it on my clients
And
to
no
go
health
get
issues.
doctors. No.
So you learn. So in other words, you've learned from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
You're at a
Absolutely.
point now.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
this is
Even
this
women need
so
some
wisdom comes into play.
Yes.
now.
Yeah. Well, that's my whole deal now is like a perfect example. I got a 16-year-old client. And he's big time into working out. His body's changing. He's a wrestler in high school. And I've already, I've laid down the law to him. You're gonna, one day anybody who really loves working out is eventually they're going to go to college, and then they're going to be around other kids, and then you're going to have other kids taking steroids. And my whole deal is to him, before you ever even think about it, I don't care where it is, what time it is, you need to call me
First.
and let me. Number one, you don't need to do it until you're at least 26, 27 years old.
Right.
Your hormones are the highest it's ever going to be.
Right.
So why
So you
screw
don't
your?
need-
See, I started at 18. I basically stunted my own growth.
So you're already at your level, and now you're putting more in.
Well,
which is
anytime
taking
you put
way above.
synthetic in, you're basically knocking down your natural.
Right.
Because your body thinks it's producing it, so it's going to
stop
naturally knock
producing
down
it.
your natural production.
Makes
So in the
sense.
long run, you hurt yourself. But again, I had no education.
Right.
I had nobody telling me, wait.
Right.
It was back. It was just back then. Learn on your own.
Right.
And
Makes
then,
sense, man.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and then
Makes a lot of
so.
sense.
Here my whole goal is here, and starting at 18, I actually hurt my goal. Because, you're not going to get your full potential before you start adding something else to your body. Now, as your body starts going down, then it's okay.
Right.
I mean, Kai Green's a perfect example.
So if you lose, like, say 5%, you can add that 5% back in.
Well, as your hormones start dropping, then if you start putting them back in, then you're good to go.
Right.
And the whole deal with bodybuilding, and it's a science project.
Yeah.
Because what works for me is not going to work for you. What works for you is not going to work for him. What works for him is not going to work for her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a science project, and it's just something that, unfortunately, I think a lot of people, even trainers, don't really. I know an ultra successful trainer. I'm not going to say his name. Ultra successful. We're at a bodybuilding show in Pittsburgh, and along with bodybuilding is diuretics to get dry for a show.
To drop, yeah.
Well, but if you're on blood pressure medicine, there's certain diuretics you don't take because your most diuretics are potassium. I mean, most of your blood pressure medicine are potassium sparing.
Right.
If you give somebody else a diuretic that is potassium sparing, that's more potassium sparing, you're going to end up with a heart attack. Because my whole sickness was kidney failure.
Kidney failure, right.
So I had to, I was on dialysis. So I actually one time went into potassium overload.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. So I woke up on a Sunday morning. I noticed I had a hard time shaving my head. I'm like, I couldn't pick my arm up. So Sunday, I just feel kind of weird on Sunday. Monday I come in, and I feel really off, like almost like I've been drinking. And I had some early clients, and I had an 8 o'clock doctor's appointment, a cardiologist appointment actually to be, because I was having all these problems with the dialysis. And so I got to training this girl at 6:30, and I was walking out, and her name was Emily, and she noticed I was kind of wobbling. And she called my wife and goes, Cindy, I don't know what's wrong with John, but you need to keep an eye on him. He's kind of wobbling out of here. So I drive like an idiot to the doctor, which wasn't far, and it was right there where my wife works. So she kind of met me and kind of noticed I was really, really out of it.
Right.
And so I went to my doctor's appointment, which I didn't remember any of it. And then I had a dialysis appointment that day. So I go to dialysis and I tell them what's going on, and I think I have no idea what's wrong with me. And they're going, you're in potassium overload. Because the problem when you're on dialysis, your body doesn't filter anything. And anybody going through dialysis out there, if they listen to this, trust me, it's the hardest thing you could ever do. Wow. It's awful.
Really?
I'll never do it again. But they go, your next step would have been you'd died. You'd had a massive heart attack and died. Well, this guy in Pittsburgh had a massive heart attack and died in the room.
Wow.
Because his trainer gave him the wrong diuretic.
Wow.
So you really, it's crazy out there. The number of trainers are clueless.
Right.
It drives me crazy.
Right.
It drives me crazy to see the way trainers are today.
Right.
Because they're terrible.
I agree.
They're not bad. They're terrible. And I'm not going to say any names. Because there's a guy in here. He is awful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Yeah.
And those people right there, it just gives us all a bad name.
Yeah.
Because old school trainers, they know what they're doing. They're educated.
Absolutely.
And these new guys, well, that's my passion. Right. They're living in the basement with their mother. And they got 2 or 3 clients, and they think they're a personal. It's my passion.
And their body look good. They go to the gym and they work out.
Half of them don't even look good anymore.
But I mean, they're going off of that.
Oh, yeah. But you go to LA Fitness, and you look at those trainers in there.
I know.
How the hell does anybody pay any money for that?
I don't understand it. I
and
don't
then people,
Because to me, training is more, being a trainer is more than just having a certification. You gotta have.
Let me tell you what, dude. I've talked to people who have every certification known to man, and they're terrible.
They are.
I mean, just because you can pass a test,
but that's
doesn't make you a trainer.
Exactly. That's why I stopped getting recertified.
Exactly.
Because I was going to getting recertified. Multiple. This happened to me more than once, and I literally took over the class from the instructor.
Yeah.
People turned to me with their notebooks, was asking me questions, making notes, because the instructor couldn't answer the questions they were asking.
Especially ACE and all. I mean, that's like taking a kinesiology class.
Which nothing beats experience, dude.
No.
No. I've been doing this for over 30 years.
No, exactly. So, I mean, these people come to me and they want to be trainers and, ask me. And I go, number one, I'm going to tell you what, dude. It's so much harder today.
It is.
It's so much harder today because number one, you don't have a client base. If you don't have a client base, good luck. Because you got to work for LA Fitness and you're making $8 for 30 minutes or
$6.
well, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you
it's
got
ludicrous.
you got to train people the way they want you to train.
Mm-hmm.
So you never develop your personality, your ideology of how you want to do things.
Right.
So you have to train these people that way. You're never going to get any results.
You see a lot in this box.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
the little book that they give you.
and you're not making any money.
No.
You're not making any money. So it could be your passion all day long.
Right.
But you eventually got to go, okay, it's got to be a career.
Right.
And, I tell people, well, what certification should I get? I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. Get a certification. It doesn't matter if
Just
it's...
get one.
Exactly.
Just get one
Because
just to say that you're legit.
Exactly.
And then build your client base.
You've got to develop your own personality,
There you go.
how you want to do things, and you got to go with that.
And different variety of clients that you have
Exactly.
with different needs is what's going to give you that
And
experience.
I'll tell people all
And you're
that.
going to make mistakes.
I've been lucky. I've never had a business card. I've done no marketing. Not one bit.
Yeah.
Not one bit.
I did a little bit since the social media came in, and I had to be pushed.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Well, see, I'm not a social media guy. This is the first thing, anything like this I've ever done.
And listen, it's great. Social media is great. It's where it is right now. You and I are old school. It's something we have to learn on top of. But if we're already busy in what we're doing, then
exactly.
But
I've never had a business card. I've never, and Fitz knows. I'm very loud. But I'm a lot more toned down now than I used to be.
When you're not here,
people know it.
You've been missed.
I know.
Where's John?
So my whole deal is, I'm a combination of everything. I'm loud, I can be entertaining, so I try to, that's my whole deal.
Right.
I'm just extremely comfortable in my environment.
Right.
You take me out of my environment, I'm still loud, but I'm not as loud. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's just my environment. It's just what in some ways I was meant to do this, and then.
I agree.
I went through the whole phase of piercings and tattoos and being wild and being crazy. And it's just...
Hey, we always go to our phase.
No, exactly. But in some ways, it's kind of helped my brand, especially when I was really big and I was really loud.
Okay.
And then it kind of just attracted people to me.
Right. Okay.
And so I've been extremely lucky.
Makes sense.
And then what I wanted, and then this becoming the career that I've chose. Because, well, I didn't really choose it. It kind of chose me.
Chose you.
Yep.
Same here.
Yep.
I got people, there was a few people coming to the gym, and because when I started, there were no trainers in the gyms anywhere. Like, it was unheard of.
Yeah.
And so, I was just one of the gym members building my body, and then people started asking me to train them. I'm like, no, because I was work corporate, which I was very happy doing.
Yeah.
And they were like, could you train me? And I'm like, no, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And they were persistent, thankfully, because it was a great career switch. And being able to work for myself,
yep,
and being passionate about about bodybuilding, because I became passionate about it with that.
Oh yeah.
And because I was always a skinny kid.
Yeah.
Growing into adult, still skinny.
Yeah.
And so even my coworkers at work used to make fun of me how skinny I
was.
Oh, yeah.
And
I can't go to the beach, stuff like that, which didn't bother me because, I'm not the type of guy even when I was a kid, I don't. Peer pressure was like nothing.
Exactly.
Call me, make fun of me. I'm gonna laugh along with you.
Well, I was a little different.
But I really wanted to. I wanted to be a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they were making fun of me, but who wants to be skinny?
Exactly.
Nobody wants to be
skinny.
And
I just think that, like me, I don't understand how not every man doesn't work out a little bit.
Everybody. I think it's for everybody. No matter what
I
size
agree,
you
but
are.
especially men.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you want to be a fat slob? You got bigger boobs than your wife, and your gut, you can't see, what down there because your gut's so big. Mm-hmm. It doesn't relate in my mind.
And it's not hard, dude.
No, I'm not saying people got to be like me.
No,
People don't have to be like me.
Levels and
Just go to
aspects.
the gym and just do
try
something. Try to be a little healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, your body is one of the few things that you can control.
Dude, it's the ultimate self-love. Man.
Exactly.
Because the thing is that when you decide to exercise, lift weights or whatever, it brings in other discipline in your life.
Absolutely.
It's not just going and lifting weights.
Nope.
You know, you have to discipline yourself in eating right, choosing better foods, whether it be alcohol, whatever the case may be. You take better care of yourself on all levels.
Absolutely.
So there's so much, the benefit of doing that is extended. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Even down to sometimes even the mate that you choose, because it changes your personality.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You become a better person. On some level, on the next level. I mean, I'm not saying that you're a bad person, but even if you're a good person, it makes you better. And you know, I find that guys who work out, even the ones that the meatheads that so-called people call, are the nicest guys, man.
Yeah.
When you go in the gym and you start talking to them, because they're in their element, they love to work out, and they like to encourage other people to work out.
And in most gyms, it's like a family atmosphere.
Right.
I don't care if you're black, if you're white.
Doesn't matter.
In the gym, you can always find some kind of commonality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then it spreads.
And then it's just like, well, to me, being in the gym is just like being on a team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, people don't care what color you are.
Right.
If you're gay, if you're straight.
Earrings, tattoos.
It don't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all kind of come together. I mean, you come into a gym and you don't know anybody. Mm-hmm. And then you meet one person, then you meet two. And the next thing you know, people you would think you would never have anything in common with, it becomes, especially when you're in this gym, exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get people come in here, everybody's got a different personality.
Right.
When they first come in here, everybody feels a little awkward. And then next thing you know,
have a conversation.
Exactly. And then next thing you know,
you're like, oh my
you're
God,
really good.
So nice.
You're good friends. I mean, you may not hang out outside the gym together,
right.
But in here, you're just
friends.
It's like a brotherhood or a brother sisterhood or whatever.
Yeah.
And then and I'm gonna go give you credit here that the one thing about gyms like you have, you go to LA Fitness. It's an FU. It's all about me.
Yeah.
FU.
Yeah.
It's all about me. It's about blah 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 on the phone.
There's no personality there.
No. Yeah. And so you come into a gym like this, and then everybody gets to know each other.
Family.
Everybody respects each other. Mm-hmm. You don't have that in these big gyms.
Right.
And then again, like you've done, you've made it to where the trainers can make money.
Right.
And not just the gym.
Right.
Because you go to LA Fitness, you're doing all the work, and they're making all the money. I mean, what?
There's no motivation.
Where's your motivation?
Yeah.
If I'm a trainer, okay, I'm talking to my girlfriend. Okay, yeah, 5 more over there. I mean, if I'm making $8, $6, $5, $10, where are you motivated?
Who gives a shit?
That ain't no money.
Right.
When they're making $60.
Yeah.
So you open a place like
Totally
this, and you make it like, I don't know why every trainer in America's not here. At least every trainer that's motivated.
I'm hoping.
Now, if you're 300 pounds and you got purple hair and all that, and
right.
You know what I mean? This place maybe not for you.
No.
But you got to be motivated, and you got, but if you want to make money,
this is the place.
This is the place to be.
This is the place to be.
I mean,
there's everything here that you would ever want.
No, without a doubt.
You can't run out of exercise.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. But yeah, I just don't see why everybody doesn't exercise a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I totally agree.
Because, when they're laying in a hospital and they're getting 4 stents put in, they probably go, well, maybe I wish I'd have exercised a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's always a little bit of regret when you don't, man.
Well, they may not ever admit
for people who work out and still get sick, they always say, man, if I wasn't working out, can you imagine how worse it would be?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Even doctors tell people that. Injuries, that kind of, if you didn't work out, how worse it could be.
Absolutely. Especially as we get older.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely. These men and women.
The main thing that causes aging is weakness.
Absolutely.
So if you're strong, even if you're aging, you're still good. You're on the better
look at Clark Brown. Clark Brown literally takes a pill for asthma. He's 82
years old.
He does but he does his testosterone cream.
Yeah.
He keeps his test levels where they need to be. Mm-hmm. And
he's here 3 times a week.
And then he goes to another gym 3 times a week and does cardio.
Oh Oh shit.
Oh, he goes to up there to Anytime Fitness up there on Roswell Road where the old Jim Buckhead used to be.
But you know what I call Clark, right? Superman.
He is Superman. I'm gonna tell you what.
That's what I call him. Superman.
Dude, this guy.
Clark Kent.
This guy. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he keeps his mind
he
healthy.
Looks good. His body, you can tell he works out.
Yep.
For an 82-year-old
Yep.
dude. You can look at
Yep.
it, and he wears his little tank tops.
Yep. He takes his vitamins.
Yeah.
He eats healthy.
He
99.9% of the time.
He gets his vitamin D because he's tanning.
Yep. He's outside. He goes when he leaves here. He goes to Chastain Park and walks it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
You know.
That's self-love right there, man.
But it's also why he's 82 and able to. You look at other 82-year-old people. They're in a nursing home.
Right.
They've got Alzheimer's. They've got dementia.
Drugs.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Clark Brown literally takes a pill for asthma.
Yeah.
And his testosterone cream.
So what's happening? I'm turning 59 next month, and I got to tell you, man, I have gotten more phone call in the last 2 years. Yesterday I looked in my mailbox and there's a card for nursing home.
Oh, yeah.
They want me to come visit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like,
but
I'm not old.
No. But you've been doing this your whole. It's like me.
They're used to people being at my age sick and on medication. I've gotten more phone calls every day. I get phone calls about medical coverage and this and that and like I'm ready to retire and going to. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
But
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be.
But you're 60 going on 40.
Dude, I feel like I'm in my 20s.
Well, but whatever.
Okay, I may not have the same testosterone like I used to have in my 20s.
But what I'm saying is, it's like me. I'm about to be 58. I don't feel 58.
No.
I don't act 58.
No. You have too much energy.
The only time I feel 58 is when I work out and my damn body's all broken down. But that's something I did to myself.
Right. Exactly.
I did that to myself.
You could have been.
There's no doubt. I mean, looking back. Oh yeah. I mean, looking back.
But the thing is that you have something. You have knowledge, wisdom that you can teach someone.
Absolutely. Else. Well, that's my whole deal now. So just trying to educate.
You are a better trainer now because you've learned so much.
Absolutely. For the longest time I was training competitors. Mm-hmm. Training competitors, and the whole deal is educating them not to make the mistakes I made.
And that's
what?
The key.
More is not better.
Right. And that's what they're paying you for, man.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because they look at you and say, "Shit, well, I want to train John because John he's done this, and this." I am getting more clients now.
I've seen it.
My conversation with clients are different from what it used to be a year ago and a year before that, because my knowledge base has increased so much more.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So me as a trainer is more attractive to them because of when the conversation is different.
Yeah.
So I keep getting better and better every year.
Yeah.
And the more people that I train I get better because now that's added more experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because everybody got a different thing going on with them, right?
Absolutely.
And so that becomes, we're like therapists too, man.
We have many titles.
We have many
marriage counselor,
marriage counselors,
therapist,
life coach,
motivator.
No,
absolutely.
People think that we don't do shit.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, people tell me
they think that we just count.
Husbands tell me things about their wife.
Yeah.
That because they know I'm not going to say a word. Right. Women talk to me about their husbands.
Confidential.
They talk to me about their kids. I mean, it's everything.
Yeah.
In some ways we're like hairdressers.
Sometimes they even ask you, can you talk to John for my son because he's doing this and doing that?
Absolutely.
I've been there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. To become
like my 16-year-old client. It's all about,
And it's not to say the father can't, but sometimes
no. It's just different. It's different because
they hear what their parents.
Well, it's like husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
If the husband says something, he can be. It's like me and my wife.
Right.
I can tell her something about nutrition, and she thinks I'm a freaking idiot.
Right.
But it's the same way with kids and their parents.
Right.
But when they hear it from me, because I'm outside, they listen a little bit more.
Yep.
It's the same way with a husband and wife.
Yeah.
If the husband tells the wife to do something or vice versa, they're like, but if I tell them, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Whether it's, one person's drinking too much, and then I go, look, you need to back that crap off.
Right.
Or if somebody, they're in a, marriage problems. I'm like, look, why don't you try this?
Right.
And you got these idiots paying $300 an hour for a marriage counselor. And I'm like, you're wasting your money. You know what I mean? But anyway, so yeah, we have many titles.
Not everybody knows you, John. So the people who don't know you have to go to the marriage counselor.
Well, that is true. But I'm talking about my
people that you know.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because I don't hold back.
Yeah, we and especially at our age, we have life experience, man. And so I think we have a lot to offer our clients in terms of making their life better.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's good. So listen, I know we got to end this thing, man. We could talk all day.
All day.
We're going to have to do a part 2
Yeah.
of this, man.
Yeah.
This is good stuff.
Yeah.
But tell the people, like, is there anything you want to, like, share with people to let them know what they can do differently or to better themselves? If it's just one little nugget.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I tell people, like if I'm doing something, whatever, getting my back waxed or whatever, and there's this girl that she waxes my back, and she's a young girl. She's a very pretty girl. She's a little heavy, so when I go in there, I try to motivate her a little bit and try to be positive and go, look, just, start going to the gym one day a week.
Just go walk on the treadmill.
Just go walk on the treadmill. And then, and then after a while, once you start doing that 2 or 3 weeks, maybe that becomes a habit. And then do another day.
Do something else.
Yeah. And then, so stuff like, it's just, get off your butts.
Yeah.
And do something. I mean, in the long run, you're going to feel better.
And it doesn't matter what size you are.
No.
People think that because I'm overweight is the only time I go to the gym.
And you don't have to feel intimidated when you come in the gym. Everybody their first day feels intimidated.
Right.
I mean, I don't care who you are.
Right.
Your first day in the gym, you're going to feel intimidated.
Absolutely.
Because it's a new atmosphere.
It's a new atmosphere.
So, just get in there,
do something.
Just start doing something.
The simplest thing you can do that.
I've got a buddy, prime example. One of my best friends growing up in Texas. A buddy of mine calls me, I don't think Andy's going to make it. He had an aneurysm. He's way overweight. I've been on his ass for years about losing weight. Ends up surviving.
Okay. And,
now he's kind of seeing the light. He's starting to lose weight. The guy makes FU money. But it was almost taken away like that.
Right.
Overweight, not taking his blood pressure medicine because he didn't like the way it made him feel. You have to listen to your body. You can't abuse your body. Because, and I got another buddy, he's going through cancer. And, you cannot stop cancer. But the healthier lifestyle you live can at least eliminate some cancers. And he's just unhealthy.
I believe you can eliminate cancer.
Well, to some degree.
I think you can prevent it. And I want to say this on tape, on camera. Stress. We all have cancer cells in our body.
There's no doubt about it.
Stress that causes
to
activate it.
10
and
times.
People are stressed from all levels.
Oh, yeah.
People stress themselves.
No, you're 100% correct on that.
Okay.
Stress is awful.
People worry about so much shit. People worry about shit they don't even need to worry about.
Exactly.
People worry about worrying.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So the stress level of human beings from one human being to the next is just constantly growing and growing and growing. People stress about so much shit.
Yep. And that way, if you can just get in the gym,
nothing to do with them.
I mean, you don't even have to get in the gym. Just start walking.
Yes.
Just get out
that's
and walk.
another thing about exercise. Exercise cut down your stress levels.
No doubt about it.
You know
it increases your testosterone level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many benefits.
So many benefits to it.
Well, people, I don't have time. That is the biggest bullshit in the world. Because everybody's got an hour.
Exactly.
I don't care. Get up an hour
30
early.
Minutes.
Or even 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, don't sleep till 8 o'clock.
And another thing I hear is like, I don't like to work out. You don't like to work out because you're lazy.
Exactly.
And you're lazy because you're not doing anything.
Just do something to work your heart. I mean, you don't have to get here and lift weights. You don't have to get in here and lift weights. But get out and walk. I mean, just do something to make your heart healthy.
Rubber bands, there's something.
I mean, we want to sit here and worry about health care in America. Well, yeah, I mean, the people that are healthy are getting screwed by the people that are unhealthy. And diabetes is out of control.
And the healthcare is what causing people to get sick.
Absolutely.
Because they dwell on it. They know it's there.
Well, but
they know it's there, so they think, oh, I can take a pill.
A lot of diabetes, is, if your parents had diabetes, there's a damn good chance you're going to get diabetes. So what's your diet?
But why do you think that happened? Is it because it's the same habit that's being transformed from the parent to the child?
Absolutely.
It's not nothing to do with your physical body.
I mean, everybody is susceptible. I mean, right now with these medicines, we
all are susceptible to the same sickness.
Yeah. Well, but prime example.
That's because you're having the same attitude.
Exactly. Like the medicine I'm on makes me pre-diabetic. Mm-hmm. But what do? I don't eat any sugar. I monitor.
Sugar.
Yeah. So I have to watch it, but I don't eat sugar anyway.
So a lady said to me that she has a sweet tooth. I say, well, make an appointment to the dentist and remove that.
Exactly. I mean, but sugar's a drug. Sugar's a drug. Cut it out. It's not good for you. Now you talking about cancer? Eat a lot of sugar, you probably get a form of cancer.
But the thing is that then there's just stress eating. Again, come back to stress.
Yep.
The cause and effect. There's so much effect from.
Well, people are just way too addicted to food. See, I'm not a food. I mean, I like food, but if I'm in a nice restaurant, I'm going to eat what I want to eat. But 90% of the time, I eat my normal diet.
And food is medicine.
Exactly.
Food is medicine. We need it.
Yep.
But we don't.
Food should be
some of the things that we call food is not food.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you got garbage food.
Garbage food. Yep. It's just literally garbage. Yep. Yep. And all it means is some company come up with some idea about what people should be eating, and they make it pretty, and it tastes, again, sugar.
Oh yeah.
And it tastes good, and so people eat it.
Yep.
And one of the things that I don't eat when I go to eat is don't give me that menu when it comes to the cakes and that they serve after every meal.
Yeah.
Dessert menu.
Yeah.
I don't even look at. I don't want to see it. I don't care.
I mean, I'll eat it on Sunday
because sugar doesn't make all that stuff doesn't make my mouth.
No.
I don't salivate over any of that stuff.
I mean, I'll have my cheat day on Sunday. There's something. But I mean, everybody's different. That's just my thing. Right. If there's something I want to eat, if I want pizza, I'll eat it on Sunday. Mm. But during the week, Monday through Saturday, I'm on it. I'm on it.
And one day a week is nothing.
No.
That's a good balance.
Yeah. Well, it's and everybody's got different, but that's your way of giving yourself a little treat.
Right. You're not saying that everybody should do that. You're saying that's your way of doing it.
But when people come to me, I go, look, what I recommend 2 to 3 weeks, strict as you can be, and then it becomes a habit. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you can give yourself a cheat meal on Sunday, and then that way you feel like you've earned it.
Got it.
You've earned it.
Okay.
So that way you don't feel like because the problem with people in food, they feel like they're being punished.
Yes.
They're being punished. Yeah. And then that way, if you give them a cheat meal on Sundays, that's their reward. So I'm not being punished. Right. Same way when I was working with competitors.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not doing what I tell you to do and you're behind, you're not going to get a cheat meal.
Right.
But if you do what I tell you to do and you're where you should be or even further ahead than where you should be, then you might get 2 cheat meals.
Right.
It's all about reward. But you got to work.
Absolutely.
You got to work. And then you just too many people have food in their head, and they feel like if they're on. And number one, I don't use diet. I don't use diet. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
It's a way of life.
So and diet doesn't mean less food or more.
No. I mean, actually, when you're competing in bodybuilding, you're eating more food.
Right.
I mean, it's like Jay Cutler. I mean, once he retired, he goes, "I'm just so glad I don't have to eat like this anymore."
Right.
Because you're feeding the machine. If you're 300 pounds,
because that muscle wants that food.
Well, you got to. You got to
feed it.
You got to.
Dude, I mean, we've covered some good stuff, man. This is great, man. But we're gonna do a part 2 again, right?
No doubt.
And I'll let you know when we get time we can do that, man. Because we can do another.
Well, and we probably went to different directions. I mean, I don't know what.
That's what the conversation is about.
Yeah, and me, I'll talk about anything. I mean, I don't, I'm an open book.
That's what it's about.
I'm an open book, and that's why, anywhere from hormone therapy to competitive. I mean, I don't have a problem talking about drugs, because, I mean, I've lived it. I'm paying the price for it. Mm-hmm. And I try to educate people on it because that's the number one problem. I know doctors that aren't educated on it.
Right. True. Absolutely.
It's just because it's just an alley that, the number one, the government don't want people doing it because they don't want people living healthy. They want people being sick. They want people dying early.
Right.
You know, so that way they don't have to take care of them.
Right.
And so my whole deal is, you know, just trying to educate people and motivate people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, because I'm not for everybody. If you want to be lazy, I'm not for you.
Right.
If you want to come in here and want to be patted on the back after you're 300 pounds, you tell me you eat a pizza, you're not going to get patted on the back.
No.
You know, so that's my deal.
Well, there you have it, people. Mr. John White, personal trainer extraordinaire here at Fit 360. Man, good conversation, man. But I got to end here, so I want to thank you people for tuning in and listening to us. And we got the next one coming up.
Come check the gym out.
Come check the gym out. Fit
Gym's
360,
unbelievable.
Total training.
You know, it's anything you want in here.
Miami Circle.
I mean, you got any kind of trainer you want.
Yep.
You know, you got
You come in
attractive
and work out
women.
for free.
You
Test
got
it out, and you can walk out. Decide you want to be here.
Yeah, you got
That's
every
fine.
kind of facet.
No one's
any
gonna
kind
harass
of training you want, you can get it in here.
you. Exactly.
The gym's great. It's ultra clean.
Yes.
You know,
Good people.
Good people. You know, and it's just not. It's a different vibe.
It's one of a kind.
Yeah, I mean, you
It's
walk
one of a
into an
kind.
LA Fitness and you walk in here and it's totally different.
It's one of a
You know,
kind.
I don't know how anybody. I mean, you know, not trying to bash LA Fitness.
And independent trainers are absolutely welcome. First,
Absolutely.
First and foremost,
If you're an independent
this
trainer,
gym is
you
for
need to get your ass
independent
down
trainers.
here.
Bring your clients.
Yeah, because you
and
know,
grow your business. Come grow
Mhm.
your business.
Yep.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Anyway, man, take care, John.
Yep,
Thank
Fitz,
you for
appreciate
being
it.
here, man.
Appreciate it. It was a
Good
lot more fun than
conversation.
what I mean, I knew it was going to be fun, but I knew it was a lot more fun than what I thought it was going to be.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
I mean, I'm just not a social media guy, but you know,
It's all right, man.
yeah, no, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
This is not really, you know, this is more conversation.
So if you just don't pay attention to the mic.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're just talking.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Yep.
really what it is.
All right, brother, appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, buddy.
Cool.
Yep.